Harry Styles has become one of the many post-boy band, girl band artists who have seen a pretty successful career. He was, of course, in One Direction, which was curated by the folks over at X Factor, and ever since then they just blew the hell up. You can obviously see why. They make songs about girls. They're all handsome bastards, and anyone that isn't them is jealous of them because of how handsome those cunts are. And he's seen a pretty successful solo career since then. He's done well for himself, and easily the most reputable and noteworthy and only artist out of the bunch that I would ever want to willingly listen to by far, because the others in that group do not make good solo music whatsoever. Harry Styles has impressed me so far with a lot of his singles, and his first album I thought was pretty good too, and pretty overhated by the music nerds. Yeah, sure, it was some cheesy rock in places, it was some cheesy stadium, arena filled rock type stuff that was very much inspired by 70s rock. You know, he had his influences, but we got some good songs out of it. We got Sign of the Times. It was a good album. Fine Line lost me a little bit just because I thought some of the genre blending and genre dibble-dabbing didn't work too well. Although again, there were some really good tracks on there. I mean, Golden, that's a good jam, and Adore You, yeah, that's a great song as well. I think that's one of the better pop songs of the past few years, in my opinion. I play that now and still enjoy that. I think that's held up pretty well, and just shows that this guy has the hits in him and he's able to make some really good, memorable songs. Again, I have to stress, none of the other members can do this. They all make shit. They all make shit. Harry Styles is the only one that's worth listening to. And even with this new album, it's kind of hitting me in the same way Fine Line is, unfortunately, in that I think it's kind of a mixed bag. But still, there's actually some really good songs on here again. Honestly, I'm going to curate a Harry Styles playlist of all the best songs from his albums, and I think I'd create a good album from it, because this guy, when he hits, he hits. The first two tracks, I was jamming. I was really jamming, and I was very surprised to be jamming, especially after the first song being called Music for a Sushi Restaurant. Why did he call it that? That's like the corniest song title and most random song title I can think of. You know how like there's all those music for this, music for that. Never would I have thought there'd be a music for a sushi restaurant. That is a first. But it's a good funky little tune. I think the backing like that sounds really fun. It's really good. It's a good track. It's a good track. It's a good opening song. Set me up for a bit of a failure though, because I thought the whole album was just going to be him trying this kind of groovy, funky sort of 80s throwback thing. I mean, Lord knows music is not short of artists trying to go back to the 80s and throw it back. We all know any given artist these days is willing to throw it back to that era, even the really good ones. I mean, Dua Lipa throws it back to the 80s sometimes too, and look, it's a decade people seem to be pretty obsessed with. But when you make it good, and these tracks are good, I was happy to hear more of it. The second track as well, thought this was a really good jam. Better in terms of how funky and groovy it was. It reminded me of something Prince would do. Never would I thought I'd say that about a Harry Styles song, but honestly, yeah, this was a really, really good jam. And like I say, if he's going to pull from these kinds of artists as influences, I'd be happy to hear it if it sounds this good for a whole album. But then he doesn't really stick or commit to it. Once you hit the third track, he's already, you know, ready to call it a day with it. The ship's sailed. He's left it behind. No, that doesn't make sense. The ship sails, he's left it. He's on the ship. The ship's sailed. He's left the funk behind. Yeah, you get what I mean. Because I was just like, oh no, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He doesn't do it anymore. Why not? Why not? Again, with Harry Styles, he's almost there. Every album, he's like getting there, and then he derails himself. I don't know what it is with his albums. Anyway, it's not like the rest of the album is all bad. I mean, even the track after the third one is potentially the best song on the whole thing as it was. I actually think this is a really good single, and one that really creeps up on you. When I first heard it, I was like, doesn't really stand out, doesn't really have a really strong melody, but then weirdly it's a song that the more you hear, actually, it really, really starts to stick with you. I think the is really catchy and sounds like something you'd hear in an advert, like really very much advert type music, but in a good way. And I must say, the version on TikTok that was like someone doing a Strokes version of this song was insane. I still can't get that song out of my head when I hear this song. If you amped this up and turned it into a Strokes song, oh my god, it's perfect. The guy that did that on TikTok, what a genius. But yeah, another killer single from the guy. Look, each album so far has had 1, 2, 3 singles that are really, really good. And if he can keep this momentum up and always stay putting out really good songs of this quality and topping the charts for multiple weeks on end, he's going to really cement himself as a proper solo act. Like, it's going to hit a point where people are not going to be like the One Direction guy anymore. He's just going to be Harry Styles on his own. And to be fair, he might already be there because there's enough singles at this point that have really done well for him. And I'm okay with it because they're good. But yeah, it's a shame that it kind of just doesn't end there, but the rest of the album is not really that noteworthy in my opinion. I just think you hit that string of tracks of Little Freak and Matilda, where he's going in a more softer, folkier direction. He's done this before, and I'm just not that keen on it. I like this style of music, but not when Harry Styles is doing it. His voice isn't strong enough. The instrumentation is really stale and ordinary sounding. Like, you're not really getting much detail in the guitars or anything like that. Like, goddamn, you know, give Sufjan Stevens a song like this and holy shit, it would hit you hard. But Harry Styles doing it, it's just really, really ordinary sounding. In fact, it is very much like he whipped out an acoustic guitar and was ready to go back onto X Factor and do an audition all over again, because this just sounds like anyone that you would find on an X Factor audition. Not to add as well, some of the lyrics that he comes out with on these 2 tracks, he's just not really that inventive of a songwriter, and it really comes through when he slows it down and tries to make like a ballady, softer track. It appeals to his demographic, particularly a song like Boyfriends, because you know his demographic is, you know, teen, maybe late teen girls that will hear a song like this and probably eat it up. But I don't know, man. We've got Ed Sheeran for this. Harry Styles was meant to be different. We don't need another Ed, but a less romantic version of Ed. But the core ingredients are all just really something like Ed would do. But lyrically, he's really tapping into his audience with this, man. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's Harry Styles, right? Just make a song about how all the boys out there are not doing you right. But I'm Harry Styles. I will do you right. And that wasn't even meant to be a dirty joke. I just mean in the sense of a relationship. You know, that kind of, is he just pretending? Is he really there for you? It's just all of it. But I'm not the audience for this. Love of my life, closing out the album too. God damn, yeah, just the most cliche lyrical ideas coming through on this one. Not a clue who he's talking about either, but I don't really follow gossip columns and stuff. I don't know. Is he married now? Is he in a long-term relationship? Who is he talking about? Maybe he's talking about Taylor Swift. Oh, okay, get the gossip columns on that one right now. But that usual stuff about you don't know what you had until it's gone, all that kind of stuff, it's all there. It's all there. It's a tick box of all the cliches you'll find in a love song. And it's just, nah. In the second half of the album, though, there were a few tracks that I thought sounded a bit better. Keep Driving. It's not a particularly distinct sounding song, but I'll take it over, you know, the slushy, mushy, you know, ballady type tracks easily any day of the week. But yeah, I thought, considering how bold the first few tracks were, hitting this track, I wasn't really that bothered by it, but it sounded okay. And Cinema brought back a little bit of that funk. I actually thought this was a really catchy track. But sadly, when you read the lyrics, I'm just sat here thinking, what on earth is this guy? What is he doing? What is this? What does this mean? You got the cinema, I dig your cinema. I mean, those lines alone, I'm just not sure what he's on about. What are you talking about? What are you saying? What does that even mean? And then he's talking about bringing the pop. and then you pop. What is all this grand metaphor about? Who wants to be told they're a cinema, and what does it actually even mean? This is the most avant-garde song I've heard all year, because I do not know what it means. He really stepped into some experimental territory with this whole metaphor. I can't for the life of me explain it. Like, he goes from like saying you've got the cinema and then says your cinema, and it's like, what? I genuinely am baffled. I don't know what this means. Is he saying that she is like cinema, like she's so good to look at, it's like cinema? But then he says she's got the cinema, so is she, does she have a cinema in her house? That's a pretty cool thing, but does she? What? Yeah, she. What? Aside from that, man, yeah, this track threw me off, but the rest of the album, yeah, it was just okay. It was just a bit bland at times. He didn't stick to his strengths, just like on Fine Line. I just thought he had ideas there that were like, yeah, you should stick to this. And then he trails off and does other things that don't really work. It works for him because these albums are doing well, but I'm just saying, for me personally, I think there's clear strengths of what he can do well, and then he doesn't quite land them with his albums. Maybe he'll get there. He's still, you know, in the early days of his solo career. He's only done 3 albums. Maybe in, you know, a couple more albums he'll get it, he'll nail it. I don't know. But for now, he's just kind of treading the line of doing good things but also doing meh things, and it's just kind of a bit disappointing. But when it's good, it's good, and I'll take the songs that I like. But overall, as an album, I'm gonna go 5.5 out of 10. It's pretty average, but, you know, like I say, remember the positives, because I do think there are good things about this album, just like his other ones too. But on the whole, he's not delivering a really good project yet. He hasn't done it yet for me. Thank you for watching. As always, do have a good day. If you haven't already subscribed, definitely do check out my Patreon as well. Support me on there, that would be fantastic. There is a Discord server you can join if you support me on Patreon for $1 a month. Have a good day. Goodbye.